season is over. Tough loss. Not just today, but just a tough loss in terms of the season. So we're going to talk a little bit about it, man. I'm going to do it a little differently here tonight, man. I'm going to go through a few things in regards to the offense and defense. Just a few things from the game. I'm not going to dive deep into it because what's the point? The game is over. We lost, okay? Tennessee won either way, so the Steelers were not going to make the playoffs. But we'll talk a little bit about it. But I want to focus in more so on what I have there in the title. Because I know it's coming. I know it's coming from the Steelers fan base. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, first and foremost, guys, again, if you want to call in tonight, I'm accepting calls. Area code 619-924-0818. Hopefully, Blog Talk Radio will work for us and you guys are able to hear me in the queue. So for any of you guys that call in, please let me know that right off the bat. But before we even get started, man, let's go ahead and welcome some of the early viewers here. Liberal Rod, Robert Ellison, Austin Novak, Marlon Nicholson, Luis D, Double T, Ronell Jackson. Who else we got up in here? Jordan Mid, Builder's Life, Drama Seidel, 187, Anthony Chandler, Rachella Brooks. Who else we got in here? Little Munchie, JJ Walker, Scott Satodi. Tomlin need to go. Okay, I'm interested in hearing all opinions, guys. All opinions. I'm definitely going to welcome all of the opinions. I do see that we have a couple callers in the queue. Let me ask you guys first and foremost. Area code 412, area code 814. Can you confirm here in the chat? Can you confirm in the chat that you're able to hear me in the phone queue, not just the stream? Confirm that you're hearing my voice in the phone queue. At least we know early if Blog Talk Radio is participating with us tonight. And if not, we'll do our workaround like we always do. So somebody please confirm that really quick. Somebody please confirm that. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the game, man. So let me wait and see if I can get one of these guys to confirm. Okay, Smitty said he can hear me. Great, Smitty. So we'll get you in a moment. I'm not going to be too long, man, as far as my information here. We saw what happened in the game. But let me just be brief, okay? Basically, same thing showed up, okay, with the exception of the defense and the run game. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But basically what happened here on the defensive first series, Watt gets called for an offsides. Watt needs to chill on that, okay? Got called for 2 offsides penalties today, and then he got called for another personal foul on Griffin. But TJ Watt, as much as I love TJ Watt, he's going to have to calm down with the encroachments, okay? This has happened quite often this year. I believe it's been 5 or more times just on him. Dupree has done it. Cam Hayward had one tonight. But TJ Watt, in particular, him and Bud Dupree, of course, if we sign Bud, they're going to have to work on being so antsy, okay, and jumping off sides. All right, so the rest of that. The Ravens were able to run the ball very well on that first drive. Still is in the drive with a sack by Hilton to force a field goal. Okay, great. You only allowed 3. Offensive first series. I put no offense, exclamation point. Steelers go 3 and out in 44 seconds. And that pretty much is what happened in the rest of this game. Basically, guys, listen. I've been saying this for a long time now, for at least 5 weeks. Our offense is not enough, would not be enough to get it done. I've been saying this. For you guys who listen to me, y'all know I've been preaching this for the very longest time. And I don't even know if what that phrase I just said there is, proper English, but for the longest time, I've been saying that a lot. And it is what it is. Now, let's talk about the defense really quick. Once again, defensively, we gave up 19 points. Okay, we had some other situations happen. The botch, fumble with Barry, and he gets hit in the end zone and got the safety. We can't necessarily put those points on the defense, even though, of course, it's going to go down as a 28-point game for the Ravens. But our defense, where they were leaky today, is the run game. The run game was a little shaky today. But let me at least put it in perspective here. This was the Baltimore Ravens. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, they didn't have Lamar Jackson. I get it. But the Baltimore Ravens, their scheme is what makes their run game very well, right? It's not just Mark Ingram. It's not just Lamar Jackson. This guy, Gus Edwards, has shown up this season. He's capable of having these type of games. We've seen it when he comes in to spell on Mark Ingram. We've seen it. Now, am I to sit here and accept the fact that the Steelers had the ball run down their throat? No. Not pleased by that. Very disappointed in the effort that we put out on the field. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not tremendous against the run. We currently came into this game 10th against the run. Not bad. But I'm here to say, guys, that the Baltimore Ravens will do this to everybody. They have done this for the most part to everybody. There's been a team or two that slowed them down. One of them being the Pittsburgh Steelers. We actually slowed them down early in the season, though. Let's keep that in perspective. The 49ers did a good job against them when they had that, game that came down to the wire. That would be an interesting Super Bowl should they meet again. But the Baltimore Ravens has run the ball down everyone's throat for the most part. They beat up New England, the number 1 defense in the league. Killed them. They gave the Jets problem. Number 2, I believe the number 2 rush defense in the league. Right? And like I said, some of that, a good amount of that, or most of that, you would say is Lamar Jackson. But at the end of the day, the Ravens scheme as a whole, I figured it might give us a little bit of problems. Not an excuse. I'm just saying, guys, if we're going to boil it down to that's the reason why this team sucks or whatever, is because the Baltimore Ravens, the number 1 rushing team in the league, were able to run the football on the Steelers. The team who set a record for the most rushing yards in the season, we're going to say that is the worst part of what happened in this game? No, we can throw this game out the window. What happened in this game and what happened in this season is the Pittsburgh Steelers have had very trash offense. Point blank, period. It showed itself again tonight. There are so many factors involved with that. There's Duck Hodges that doesn't play his best. There's Mason Rudolph that didn't play his best in his opportunity. Played decent at times, same way Duck Hodges played decent at times. The inability for the Steelers in the last 3 to 4 weeks of being able to pick up the blitz. What has happened with that? That might be a coaching issue right there. As far as the schematics, we have had trouble picking up the blitz. Buffalo exposed it. The Jets did the same thing. Ravens did the same thing tonight. How many times have we allowed a free rusher? Okay? So when you combine everything, combine it with the fact that the best quarterbacks aren't playing, the best play call is certainly not happening, is not happening. The best play calling is not happening. There you have it, folks. In a nutshell, this is why the Pittsburgh Steelers were in the position they were in. And I kept telling you guys to stop having false hope when we were 8-5. What did I keep saying? And some of you guys were calling me a pessimist. What did I keep saying? Bruh, I don't trust this offense. I'm not riding this wave. Did I not say, and I turned and said this to Leonard today as we watching the game, do you guys not remember me saying when we were about to face the Browns, the Bills, and the Jets, do y'all not recall me saying that week on Terrible Town Tuesday? Listen, man, we're about to face 3 real good defenses. I don't think we beat those teams. Maybe Cleveland. Do y'all recall that? What happened? Had a chance to win those games, but we couldn't because no offense. Same thing tonight. Even though the score makes it look like more of a slaughter, and yes, they were able to run the ball down our throats at times, but we didn't do anything with the ball when we had it. We still had opportunities. We were still in the game in the fourth quarter. Like it's been all season. Even with, clearly having a leak, clearly bleeding against the run game, we still were in the game in the fourth quarter. It was a 1-possession game. A touchdown wins the game for you. Offense can't do nothing. Like I said, combination of everything. The quarterback, the offensive coordinator, maybe the offensive line coach, clearly play calls, and if you want to throw Mike Tomlin in that mix, fine, you can do that as well. But I'm here to say this before I even go into the phone calls. I'm not having the Mike Tomlin conversation. I'm not. I want to hear from all of you guys. I want to hear from everyone's opinion, guys who hate and love certain coaches. I want to hear it, but I'm just not going down that road. I'm not. I will give you guys my opinion, but I'm not engaging in, I'm not having that conversation. at this moment. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. It's just, to me, I feel like it's pointless at times because everybody has their own opinion, and some people, you're not going to waver your opinion. So I'll just let you get it out. You won't hear any combativeness from me. But like I said, before I get into the cause, the fact that this Steelers team finished 8-8 is a surprise to me. And it's a surprise to me going all the way back to week 2 when Ben Roethlisberger went out the game, and we found out later that week, because we hadn't gone to week 3 yet, we found out that he was done for the season. At that point, I said, oh boy. Because remember, even at that point, we didn't have Minkah Fitzpatrick yet. So I still didn't know if the defense was going to be good enough. I thought the season was a wash at that point. You guys remember me saying it. Go back and look at the videos. The evidence is there. All of a sudden, that defense started balling, playing incredible defense, doing just enough, creating a bunch of turnovers, scoring on defense. Steelers are sticking their heads in there. Go up against the Colts, which is a game I was actually at, beat a team at that point with a winning record. I was like, okay, if this offense can only get going. Mason Rudolph has his best game against, trying to remember who it was against. One of them, the Rams, it might have been. Had one of his better games against the Rams, and he comes back and stinks it up against Cleveland with the 4 interceptions, okay? And this was after the injury. After coming back, off an injury from being knocked out of the game with the Ravens. Duck Hodges comes in and relieves him, and in the next game that he struggles in after Cleveland, Duck Hodges is looking promising. Duck Hodges, even when he went out to the Chargers early in the season, looking fairly promising right there, managing the game. And then again, when Duck has to come in relief of Mason Rudolph, he airs the ball out, looks good for about 2 weeks, then he goes the other direction. Then everybody's clamoring for Rudolph to get back in the game. Duck goes through his 4 interception game, comes into the next game, struggles, right? And then here comes Mason Rudolph to save the day, throws a touchdown in the game, ties it up at half. We're like, oh boy, okay, looks like Mason Rudolph has got it together, at least for this game. We got a chance to win. He gets hurt again. Still, the offense unable to do anything to beat the Jets. Only allowed 16 points. Was unable to put up more than 10 points. The same number in this game tonight. Steelers offense has, and you can include Ben Roethlisberger in this mix, 23 straight games with a turnover. That's insane. 23. The Steelers offense. At one point they said we were out of 8 games, 7 of those 8, I guess you can now say out of 9 games, because I'm just fast forwarding to the last week here. So if my math is off, forgive me, but now I think you could say 8 out of the 9 last games, the Steelers have only scored 1 touchdown per game. Did y'all realize that? 1 touchdown per game for the last 8 games. The Steelers are ranked 30th in the league offensively. Why did the Steelers not win? Why did the Steelers not make the playoffs this year? There's your answer. You can say coaching. And again, coaches have some blame on this, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not going to argue your opinion on coaching. Y'all can have it. I'm not going to argue your opinion on Tomlin. You can have it. The facts are, if you look at the way this team performed offensively, there's your answer. That is why our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-8, and they're at home with the rest of us. So I don't understand why some of you guys were so gung-ho and so ho-hum and, we're going to beat the... Sometimes, guys, you have to be a realist as a fan. We should have seen this coming a long time ago. And I don't care what y'all say. Okay? The best coach in the world, I don't think, would have been able to help the way this offense performed. I'm just talking about on the field. Now, one could say, yes, Randy Fiedner, obviously, I think there's times that he should have had better play calling. I fully agree with that. But, guys, come on, man. Come on. This offense was next to horrible this season. And there's the reason why your Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to the playoffs. It's just that simple. Did I have anything else, man, in the notes? Because like I said, I'm going to get right into the calls, man. There was a time when we were up 7-6. There was a big third down conversion by Duck to Johnson on a 3rd and 7. Benny Snell got the run game going and finished the drive with a touchdown. That was great. And we went up 7-6. Great thing to see. There was also a great throw, and I think it was on that drive, and that might be the one I'm referring to on the 3rd and 7. What an outstanding throw. What an outstanding throw by Duck Hodges to Johnson down that left sideline. And Marcus Peters is right there looking to undercut it. Beautiful throw. But again, the problem that Duck has sometimes, man, is Duck retreats a little too fast sometimes. You know, a little too fast at times, and it tends to hold the ball a little too long when he's retreating, if that makes sense. Got to have that internal clock. Sometimes he has a tendency to drift, you know, and he missed some throws at night. You know, he was inaccurate from time to time. But it is what it is, guys. He is what he is. You know, maybe he'll get better. We'll see. Let's see. The Steelers gave up a big 3rd and 12. Under 3 minutes left in the half. Steelers defense playing zone coverage. It's something Kenyon and I and Tony have talked about quite often. Listen, guys, there's no perfect play call. You can never predict what the team is going to do. But time and time again, Keith Butler seems to just play the wrong strategy when it's situational football. Now, again, I'm not ready to say that forget Keith Butler and he's the worst coordinator in the world at this point. The only reason why I can't do that, I have to be fair and say, wow, Steelers is the number 4 overall defense this year. Wow, they got the most takeaways. Wow, they got the most sacks. I think we're still leading that category. I'm not sure, but we're either 1 or 2. Total defense, number 4. You can't really argue with the statistics. However, where I could argue, where I would like to have a new voice out there or a new strategy, I would like to see some different things attempted in situational football. I believe that our Steelers, both defensively and offensively, are very, very predictable in key situations. You don't see enough mix-up. However, Kenya pointed out to me, and I haven't had a chance to view it, that Alex Kazur did a great job breaking down where the Steelers threw a cover 7 coverage out there. I want to check that out because I will say, watching the All-22, Keith Butler has done some mixing and matching. And again, I don't know if it's all Butler. We've been seeing Tomlin on some games, you know, call the plays. I didn't see a play call sheet with him today. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see him with that today. So we don't know if some of those things were Tomlin, Butler, Austin, Bradley. Don't know. All I do know is it just seems like at times, man, when we feel like Keith Butler's in charge, when we don't really see anybody else with the call sheet, it seems like in situational time, man, we tend to do exactly what we always do, and we get burned for it. Was there anything else? And like I said, guys, not a whole lot to cover in this game, man, because what's the point? What's the point? Steelers give up a sack and fumble right before the half. Judon gets right around McDonald. Duck hit and fumbled. Barron gets beat by Bell on a 3rd down. Y'all remember that? 3rd and 7. And Justice Hill able to give him a nice move, picks up the 1st down. Then horrible tackling to give up a touchdown to Hill. Terrell Edmonds gets ran over. And as much as I've been saying that kid has been doing better with tackling, he caught a bad one there. Just so much stuff, man. And here's one other thing I'll read to you, and then I'll go to the calls. Second half, the Steelers go 3 and out after the half. Right after that, T.J. Watt punches the ball out to give the Steelers the ball back in prime territory. Johnson almost scored, okay? Let's talk about that really quick because I saw a lot of people during the game, you know, whether I took a peek on Twitter or what have you, a lot of people were saying that Tomlin should have challenged that. I don't think so. I don't think he should have challenged it, and let me tell you why. When you looked at the replay, yes, when me and Leonard both looked at the replay, at first we was like, oh, his foot is in. That's a catch. When they showed it the second time, I said, okay, now let me look at his arm. His arm came down out of bounds before the second foot hit. It's not a catch. And somebody else pointed out, in which I didn't see this, another person pointed out that his knee went down before the foot. I don't know about that. But what I do know for sure, his left arm, or I think it was his left arm or hand, hit the out of bounds, the white line, before that back foot hit. Not a catch. Not a touchdown. So Great effort by Deontay Johnson, which I think he's going to be a bad boy. I think we've seen it. The boy's going to be bad. But Steelers just didn't do enough. And again, that's another situation where we didn't do enough in the moment after a turnover in plush territory. Didn't put a touchdown on the board, and there you go. Stuck in the same situation. But anyway, guys, let's get to the calls. And guys, keep it quick for me, man. I'll let you talk a little bit, but guys, don't get carried away. Let's keep the same integrity and same approach here with the calls. For any of you guys who haven't called already, the area code 619-924-0818. And let's hear what Steeler Nation has to say. First up, area code 412. I believe that's Smitty. What you got for us? What's going on, man?
Hey, well, the only thing that's consistent right now is the Browns hiring and firing. They fired Freddie Kitchens. So, yeah, there's that. But also, man, I know it's not going to happen, but Randy Fiedner, I know he was not working with a lot, but he needs to be fired. And also, I am praying that we're not on the hard knocks going into training camp because we don't need that with Ben's drama queenism coming back from the surgery. And also, I just think that they got to cut their losses. Like Ramon Foster, it's been 3 weeks in a row that he gave up a big sack with trying to fill in blitzes through the same gap. I know that also. Then it's just that, like, I don't get Steeler Nation complaining, that Mika Fitzpatrick trade was horrible. We could have did something with that 18th pick from starting 0-3 to getting to the 18th pick overall. So I just don't understand Steeler Nation. And Juju, I'm worried about Juju's confidence right now. I need him to actually be himself and tune out all that noise. But other than that, we got a lot of work to do this off season with not too many resources. So I'll just call and hang up. But hey, I had a great 2019 season. It was a roller coaster. We actually made something out of nothing. I'm really looking forward to listening to Steeler Depot and you all off season, so we can get prepared for the next season and pray that we're not on hard knocks. All right, I'll listen offline. Thanks.
Man, appreciate the call, Smitty. Just to comment on a few things you said real quick before I go to the next one. Yeah, man, I don't know if we're going to see a firing, if you will. I think at most, if there's a contract that's up for renewal, it doesn't get renewed. I think Keith Butler's in that situation, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me. But again, what would scare me or cautious me, trying to talk, I got a burp at the same time. I know I'm professional. The caution that I have with Keith Butler is the fact that the stats don't lie. And Rooney may look at it like that and bring him back. I'm just trying to be a realist. I'm not saying I want him back. I'm just saying stats don't lie. You know what I'm saying? But I would love to have a fresher start, both defensively and offensively. I like to see a fresher blood, some more youth infused, guys that can, don't have that same old school mentality. You know what I mean? Outside of that, I think with the quarterback position, I can't remember if Smitty said it, but I saw somebody say it here, so I might as well mention it. As long as Ben Roethlisberger is stated to come back, guys, I don't expect to see many changes there. Maybe Duck Hodges is not back, but don't expect Rudolph to be gone. He's not going to be gone. The last time we saw Rudolph play, he looked better than average in that one game. So that Steelers are going to approach it like that. They're not going to piss away a third-round pick and only going into his third season. They're not going to do that. And Juju. Yes, I do worry a little bit about Juju. I still have faith in Juju. I know a lot of people are down on Juju. My father-in-law, Leonard, being one. Again, a lot of you guys are so results-driven, you don't see the bigger picture. I think we could really evaluate Juju Smith-Schuster if we have a healthy Ben Roethlisberger next year or a very solid quarterback. Then we'll see what Juju is made of. Especially now that we see that James Washington and Deontay Johnson are going to be contributors. I don't think it's fair to judge him this year because, again, contrary to what some people believe, when you look at the All-22, there are times when Juju Smith-Schuster is open and the ball can't get to him. We saw it today. On one of those plays, when they showed the replay and they showed Juju was past his guy streaking down the left sideline, it's not, guys, it's bigger than what you think it is. Just by looking at the TV view, and you're thinking somebody's not open, that's not always the case. You see a whole lot of different things happening when you look at the film. Have guys been able to defend Juju this year? Sure. We've seen times where he's won. We've seen times that he's lost. I mean, it happens to everybody. And the conversation is always, well, this is what Leonard says. With Brown, you ain't never see nobody shut Brown down. We're talking about Antonio Brown. Whoever said Juju was that? So you guys got to get out of your head comparing people to, like, the best of all time or the best at their position. You got to stop doing that. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is still a nice receiver. We will still see, and we'll see going forward if he's a great receiver. We're going to see. We'll find out. But anyway, man, let me move on. And let me keep my response short to you guys as well. So appreciate the call, Smitty. Next up, 609. Keep it short for me. What you got for us tonight?
What's going on, SimFBallCritic?
What's up, man?
Oh man, just watching this game. Oh gosh, it was just really bad. Like the first series, it was just like I just knew our season was over. When I saw the Texans losing to Titans, and I found out that AJ McCarron was starting everything, I knew our season was over. It was a good season, even though we had a lot of close. We could have won most of these close games, but we just didn't have the offensive firepower that we did in the past. And I feel like Randy Fiedner should be fired, and I feel like Keith Butler should be fired. One, because for Randy Fiedner, it's the offense is too vanilla, too predictable, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And for Keith Butler, it's his track record is really not good, and I feel as though they're not going to re-sign him, extend his contract or anything. So, like you said, we got to worry about this draft and everything else in the offseason. We got to get some young blood and everything else and get rid of Mark Brown, because that Justice Hill play, that kind of does show, how really bad he was. Not really how bad he was, but just really how much of a liability he is in open tackling and pass coverage as well. That's all I want to say, and let me know your thoughts. Bye.
Yeah, man, I'll pick one thing to comment on so I can move through the calls and I can be short as well. Let's talk about the OCs. Listen, I agree with that. I don't have an issue with letting Randy Fiedner go, letting Keith Butler go. My only concern, again, though, is I think that the Steelers brass is going to look at the statistics. They're going to look at seeing what Butler did, the defense, how the defense shaped out, turned around this year. I think that's going to help his cause, right? I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying I wouldn't expect it. OC, the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is going to be under center gives me reason to pause on thinking that Randy Fiedner won't be there. But I would love to see somebody else come in there. Man, you guys know, you should know how I feel about Randy Fiedner. Like my man said, very vanilla. Do something different, man. Can we get different plays out of certain formations that look different, feel different, flow different? That's what the good teams do. And that's why the Ravens' rushing attack is so difficult. The guy said it tonight. They line up in the pistol a lot, and you can't get a beat on which way the play is going. A lot of times you can't see them. It's a guessing game. The linebackers or whatever guess one way, they go the other way. We don't do any of that. We don't do anything that is a wrinkle. It's mostly what's pretty much coming. Even tonight, and I'm going to talk about Benny Snell before I'm done tonight, but even tonight, there was times out of that single back, and I'm like, come on, man. Everybody know where it's going, and, Snell was able to make it happen. But it's still just, too predictable. But let me move on, guys, because we got a lot of phone calls in the queue. We got about 9. So let's say this. I'm not going to respond to everything. I'll try to pick one thing to respond to and hit on that. But, guys, please keep it quick for me. Nice and short, less than a minute. I will try to do the same with my responses. Let's move on. Area code 334. What you got for us?
Yes, sir, man. How you been doing, Sims?
Good. What's going on?
To your show. Been a while. I've been really, really busy, and that's why I could not really catch up with you in your shows. But I'm here to say I'm very disappointed with the performance on offense this year. Doug Hodges is not a bad quarterback. Rudolph is not a bad quarterback. It's just they're rookies. They're trying to learn the new system of how to be a quarterback. As I study Hodges' footwork when he's out there throwing is very bad. He's not going to last in the NFL throwing off his side foot. You got to throw off your back foot to deliver accuracy on the ball, and he's not doing a good job of that. Yes, I was wrong when I said that I felt that we was going to go to the Super Bowl with this kid, but after Buffalo exposed his weakness, after they did that, I said to myself, well, he has a lot of work that got to be done to him. And for as Rudolph, I went back and looked at all his old clips, and I said, this boy here is really good, but sometimes he misses his reads. And the only weak spot I see with him is he can't read certain coverages. Otherwise, I can see him beating out Hodges by a little. But he got to release the ball. And for as the offensive
2-minute warning.
The offensive line coaches, they got to go. They are terrible. I miss Munchak. I really, really do, because they cannot even move the ball up front. But that's all I have to say to you, and you can give your comment, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, 334, man. You know what? First and foremost, at 334, I'm going to say, man, real man right there. You know, he was the one. Y'all know we all laughed and joked, you know, with him during the season. He said we was going to go to the Super Bowl, and it takes a real man to come here and say, hey, I was wrong. So I appreciate that. But, yeah, man, you know what? I don't have much to say. I'm going to be brief so I can move on. It's just the offense, man. If anybody would really just sit back and watch, we just didn't have the offensive consistency. I think that's the best word. I'm not going to say we didn't have weapons, because we had a few weapons in the offense that we saw, you know, and the young receivers stepping up. We just never had any real consistency with the two quarterbacks. And there you have it. The offensive line wasn't consistent with blitz pickup, things like that. So, yeah, that's about all I got to say. So let's keep it moving, guys. We got a ton of calls in the queue. Guys, please keep it shorter than that. I got to pick on 334 one more time. Don't follow that lead. Short. Say your point and get out so we can get everybody in. Area code 618. What you got for us? All right, 618 decided to leave. I see my brother Tony in the queue. Tony, if you hear me, man, I'm gonna hold you to last. I'm gonna hold you to last. You know, of course, I'm gonna give my brother, you know, some more treatment. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. That's my real brother right there, my brother-in-law. So we're gonna let Tony get his in last. Area code 651. What you got for us?
All right, how you guys doing, man? I'm just gonna try to keep it short. One of the things I see we have, I wish when we had a chance to replace Fishner in the beginning, we went with a younger guy coming out of college that was more creative. When we had Bell and Brown, those things, we can kind of make something happen. Smarter plays, quicker things, younger, more aggressive offense. Another thing is Duck doesn't have an NFL arm. I mean, that guy has a noodle. When he throws it to the numbers, it's over. He's getting jumped. And I was really hoping he didn't do it against Peters. Rudolph, I think he was a little still cloudy the first couple games when he came back in for Baltimore. After he had that concussion, he came back, he wasn't the same. You can tell. But when he got back in just recently, he played really well, made a couple big throws. I know it takes a few more to see what you really got, but he showed something, and it's kind of going to be hard to figure out what you'll do with him in the offseason. Le'Veon showed us why he was what he was. That guy's a guaranteed 3 yards. And that's what happened in that Jets game. He was able to consistently get 3 yards, 3.5, 4 yards. He's a chain mover. And we missed that. And Connor is not consistent enough to do that. And he can't stay on the field. With that said, Fishner needs to do better with the lineup of running backs we have. You got a pounder, you got a quick guy, and you got a guy that's basically Mewelde more than Samuels, that we don't use them like that, which confuses me. So I just want to try to get as much in as possible. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah, man. Good assessment right there. I really appreciate what you said. You said a whole lot. Everyone heard it, so I'm not going to try to summarize it, but I agree definitely with the feet. Now, come on, man. You got to use the tools you have. I mean, I know Karif White came a little later, but I feel like we could have found ways to utilize his speed. You know, it's almost like when he comes out there, you know exactly that he's getting the ball. We don't use him in, you know, pass pro. So if you're going to do that, you know, let's run some motion or something, or, you know, a fake jet sweep and hand it off to him, or just run a halfback screen or something to where it's not so obvious. But definitely need to utilize those guys more. We don't. You're right. Connor, I love Connor, and somebody, I guess accused me in the last show saying don't throw him in the trash so soon. I'm not throwing him in the trash, but the fact of the matter is Connor doesn't stay healthy. It is what it is. I love his play style when he's on the field. We missed him greatly this year, and that's what a lot of people are missing. Yeah, we missed Bell, but not as much. Last season, when Connor outproduced Bell until he got hurt. That's the issue. All right, let's move on, man. Area code 330. Keep it short, guys. Keep it short. 330, what you got?
Hey, what up, man? Been a while. How you been?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
Oh, nothing much. Now, my whole thing about it is we're missing a lot of pieces this year. One thing that we need to do is look at it. What we had, we should have either the Bengals or the Browns record while everybody all getting butt hurt and everything. They work. The more film you get on somebody, the more you're able to stop. That's just what happened. Last 3 games of the season, they had enough film on Duck that they knew what to throw at him to cause him to have a terrible game. And then also, you see Bud Dupree every year is getting better. So all y'all Bud Dupree haters, quit hating. He's working at it.
All right, you paused for a moment there, so I'm not sure if you were done or not, but I guess that'll be a good stopping point. I agree. The more you get film on people, man, Duck gave us a spark early, and then people, I guess, started realizing what his tendencies was. You saw what the Bills did, you saw what the Jets did, even Cleveland tried to do. You saw what the Ravens did. Even they said it in the broadcast that, what's the guy's name? Martindale, I think his name is. The Ravens coordinator said he was going to go duck hunting. There it is. All right, and I wanted to go back and comment on what the guy said on the last call as well. I stand by this, and you guys know I stand by this. I still say Mason Rudolph's upside is better than Duck Hodges. Listen, do y'all see what Ryan Tannehill is doing in Tennessee? How many people is ready to throw that man in the trash, including the Miami Dolphins? Now, I'm not saying I'm willing to sit back and let let Mason Rudolph become Ryan Tannehill 7-8 years later. I could be wrong with the years there, but you know what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is I don't think at the moment we can say this guy will never pan out. I think Rudolph has all the potential in the world if he just gets better with his going through his reads. Stop locking in on his guy early and just relax a little bit in the pocket. Give us a little more of what you gave us in preseason. I think Rudolph could be somebody. I'm not saying that he's going to be the Steelers franchise guy. I'm just saying I think he can turn out to be a solid quarterback. Duck Hodges, I don't know. Maybe he can, but I still think Rudolph's upside is more than Duck Hodges. That's just my thoughts. All right, moving on. Area code 864. What you got for us?
Hey, yeah, I'm going to be short, man. I'm not going to be that long. What do you think about these free agent quarterbacks that's out here? Cam Newton, you got Phillip Rivers, and Ben is talking about he for sure he done got used to being home with the family every day. He's not 100% sure if he's gonna come back. You think Pittsburgh need to go ahead and make a move on one of these veteran quarterbacks out here?
That's interesting, man. Appreciate the call. I will respond to that. It all depends on if Ben Roethlisberger is coming back. I know there was some reports out there saying he's having doubts, but then supposedly he quickly cleared it up and said he will be returning. If Ben Roethlisberger is returning, then Phillip Rivers, Cam Newton, no. Only reason why is because those guys are not backups. You know what I mean? So, I don't see that. Now, if Ben Roethlisberger somehow decides between now and the time that he has to make his decision to call it quits, yeah, maybe. I mean, why not take a chance on a guy like Cam? I would love to see that type of style, that could help us. Even though, listen, Cam Newton hasn't been great. He slowed down a bit, and I think his injury has been a part of that. But why not have that type of ground and pound guy that could get you a few yards here and there if necessary? until we find a real replacement. And when I mean real, I mean a long-term option. Cam probably wouldn't be that. Phillip Rivers, the same thing. Rivers has been a little, have not liked how Phillip Rivers has looked over the last couple years. He's been shaky. He's been kind of like, the bad side of Ben Roethlisberger. But I would say I would rather maybe sign a decent veteran if we got to go into the thing without Ben Roethlisberger. But if Ben's coming back, nah, I don't see it. Because again, like I said, I don't think those guys are aiming to be backups. But appreciate the call, man. Moving on, area code 571. What you got for us?
Yes. Oh, fuck.
All right, man. I gotta let you go. Come on, bro. You gotta watch your mouth, man. What's that about? Come on, man. Don't do that. So I gotta let you go, man. Maybe I'll get you the next time. And if it was an accident, hey, accidents happen. But come on, man. Don't do that. Next up, area code 814. What you got for us?
Hey, man, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, I think that Tomlin has to get a lot of credit. I mean, there are a ton of coaches that were done a ton worse in this year. I mean, the Browns, great example with Kitchens. I mean, I think that he got out of there after 1 year. I think they just fired him. So, yeah, I mean, I think that I think the defense was kind of spotty against the run in this game. But overall, man, the Steelers are going to be elite for next year. This is the big point that I want to say. The Steelers they have the potential to be elite as long as they have Ben back and this awesome defense. I love it. I think we can go places on this team. I just think we got to give Tomlin another chance. Everyone just wants to write him off, and I mean, come on, Steeler Nation, let's go.
Appreciate the call, my man. Consistent caller, always calling through. I will say this really quick. Like I said, I'm not gonna do a whole lot of the Tomlin talk. There's people that's gonna hate him, people that's gonna love him. But I will say this. Listen, whether you hate or love the coach, y'all are telling me that you are really grading him on a appropriate scale this year. I'm just talking about this year. I'm not talking about the past. I'm not even talking about the future, just this year. If you're going to judge coaches, players, etc., please do it from a fair standpoint. That's all I'm saying. Injuries happen in the NFL, yes. But as real Steelers fans, coming off of the season we came off of last year, which was so-so, losing Antonio Brown as a talent, knowing we're not going to have it, Le'Veon Bell, which we knew that, but I'm just saying, let's throw him in the mix. Not sure what your defense is going to be, even though you make moves to get Devin Bush and acquire Steven Nelson. This is before Minka Fitzpatrick, guys. Follow me. Ben Roethlisberger goes down and is out for the season as of week 2. Y'all are telling me that you really thought that this Pittsburgh team was going anywhere. So we get hot later. We get to 8-5. Barely. Think about it. Barely. And with Mason Rudolph and or Duck Hodges, you're surprised that the offense can't get going against the Buffalo Bills defense? Even the New York Jets defense. Number 2 defense against the run. And the Baltimore Ravens that really was only missing Andrews, Jackson, Earl Thomas, which of course, Mark Ingram, Brandon Williams. The whole secondary pretty much was out there. All the serviceable backs were out there. I'm just saying, if you guys are really trying to throw the coach in the trash this year based off of how this season ended, you're just not being fair. If it's a cumulative effect, that's your opinion. Like I said, I'm not going to argue anybody. I'm just saying, guys, if we're judging it off of this season, come on, man. Got to be fair. You have to be fair, and you should have tempered your expectations. But it is what it is. Next up, area code 931, which is our boy Box. What you got for us, man?
Man, what's going on, Sim?
Nothing much.
As always, reporting to you live from a planet called Clarksville, Tennessee, man. We're going to try to do this real quick, man. Tough loss for the boys, man. Still ride or die, though. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, like my man said last call, I hope we lined up to be forced to be reckoned with next season, man. In terms of who's got to go, Randy Fiedner's got to go. He's got to go, man. Now, I know Ben might have something to say about that because that's his man and all, you know. And Ben will probably jump up and down on the desk to keep Randy Fiedner there, man. But I'm really curious. Don't know if you're going to do a breakdown, a film study, man, but I want to know what was our average game on first down. First down was so predictable. It was handed to Benny Snell and let him run in, you know, into the back of the offensive line for a yard or two. You know, man, we did nothing to keep them guessing on the early downs. So, hey, Randy Fiedner has got to go, man. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Whoever the offensive line coach is, I know that's Munchak's understudy, but it seems like he understudied the playbook in the blueprint that Munchak left, man. You need to get him out of here. I was really hoping that we could have gotten into the playoffs, man, but the offense just completely fell apart. You know what I'm saying? Down the stretch, man, it was being held together with masking tape and mailing stamps or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it just completely fell apart, you know, down the home stretch, man. And I hate that because I was hoping Tomlin would really get that consideration for Coach of the Year, man. Working with what he was given to work with, you know. I think he did a good job, man, to not come away with a losing season, man. But, you know, it's Steeler Nation to the day after the last day, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the homie Sim. If you're not subscribed to Sim, man, you slipping on your pimping, man. Slap yourself, man, with your grandma's hand. You know what I'm saying? And as always, I am that boy Fox. This is Rough House Boxing TV, and y'all make sure y'all stop by the house. Just remember to wipe your feet, close the door behind you. Tank Davis, 12-round KO victory over Yorioki's Gamboa last night, man. Excellent fight. That's what's up. I'm out. Cheers.
Appreciate it, man. Rough House Boxing. And we're going to take about 2 more calls. The next one will be 954. And then after that, I'm going to get my brother Tony on for a spell. I have a question I want to throw out there to you guys in the chat. And maybe we'll revisit it once I get Tony on. A drunk Steelers fan. I just want to read his comment. He says, oh, and by the way, I definitely agree with Rough House. Yeah, man, if anybody that I would have to say I would like to see go, might be Randy Fiedner, only because, again, the way he calls his plays, it's just too predictable. Probably won't happen because of Ben Roethlisberger, and somebody in the chat made a good point. Because of what I said before Rough House came on, might be the very reason why everybody stays. So, you know, us being fair, maybe the organization will feel the same way, but we shall see. But I want to read this comment, man. He says, I was the biggest Tomlin supporter going into Week 15. I want y'all to remember that. Biggest Tomlin supporter going into Week 15. Then he says, but man, those last 3 weeks, Bills was a fair loss. Jets, no. RG, okay, he's basically, you know, making a phrase out of RG3, but let's just say RG3, Ravens. Come on, man. That wild card was ours. This is my only question I got for you. What changed? What changed? If you could say that the Bills' loss was a fair loss, why? Because of the defense? Because of the Bills' defense and because of the Steelers' inability to put up points offensively? None of that changed. This is what I told everybody for 3 straight weeks, even coming into this game. Did I not say to you guys, we're not going to the playoffs? I don't trust our offense even if they don't play Lamar Jackson. And it showed up again. And that's my only point. We can't, I'm not going to say we can't because everybody's opinion is different. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm wrong. But if we look at it from a fair standpoint, this team has been the same all year. Offense up and down. Offense not doing enough. So why did people's emotions change just because we went to 8-5? Most of us was saying, dog, even if we get in, we ain't beating nobody. Y'all know if we would have got in, it won't Kansas City we was going to see. We going to New England. Come on, man. Yeah, I know. Miami beat them today. I know. But look how many points Miami scored offensively. It's my exact point. But all right, man, let's take this last call before Tony. Area code 954. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, little brother? This is Calvin from Miami, bro. I'm a diehard Steelers fan for the last 40-plus years, bro.
Oh, man.
Just to keep it short and sweet with you, bro, I really appreciate what you do online. I'm a late comer to your show, but I've been, trolling through YouTube, and I saw you. I'm like, oh, dude, that got to be it. And I called right away. Real short and sweet, my brother. This year, as a Steelers fan, I think this is the softest bunch of offensive players Pittsburgh have had in years. And I know injuries are a part of the game. Don't get me wrong. The injuries are a part of the game. But this is the softest bunch of Pittsburgh Steelers players offensively that I have ever seen. Roethlisberger, I've trashed this dude for years off his inability to read, but that is a thing of the past, because if Roethlisberger is there, Pittsburgh is in the playoff as a 4 or at least a 3 seed, because we would pull off some of those games that we are losing because we can't get 2 yards. I mean, it is just terrible football to watch this year. That defense has kept them in, and I think the defense just got tired as the year went along because there's nothing else. They had that big blast when they got a couple of interceptions and touchdowns and scoop fumbles and blah, blah, blah. Beautiful. But here comes that offense. It's like I turn the volume down on my TV every time they drop back to the ball. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, bro. Because one or two things going to happen. It's going to be an overthrow or an interception. Very rarely he hits any one of those two quarterbacks. And my thing is, the last thing, bro, I would never trash Roethlisberger, because the turnovers that those kids were getting on that defense, Roethlisberger would have cashed a few in. Just like the 5 we got against Frisco and got 3 points, Roethlisberger would have, he'd have cashed in on some of those. And that's the difference between Roethlisberger and the two kids that we're not trashing the 2 kids, but they're just not NFL ready right now. They're not ready right now. And the last thing before I go, little brother, that offensive line coach, to piggyback off of the caller before, that offensive line coach needs to be, he should have been packed up weeks ago. How do you have one of the best lines with 3 Pro Bowlers on the line, and you can't even hold a flipping block? It's beyond me. You're supposed to come in the league with one of the best offensive lines in football this year. The worst thing we did, yes, I love Le'Veon, yes, I love Antonio. The worst thing we did was when we let Mike Munchak get away. That was the worst thing we made, the worst move we made. Brother, I got you locked in. Love the Steeler Nation. Hey, if this one of them years, we'll be back. God bless all you fellas out there. Y'all be safe, man. Happy New Year.
Oh, man, thank you to you, man. Great call. I appreciate it. We're going to throw him a round of applause, man. Great call, man. See, every now and then, guys, the OGs got to come in and get us straight, man. And I appreciate that. He, like he said, man, been a Steeler fan for 40 years, so he's probably got many of us age-wise, and I always respect, and I listen to my elders. I even listen to, younger guys. I listen to everybody, and take from them what I can. That was a great call because he put it in perspective. Now, I know some people in the comments had a problem with him saying that some of the offensive guys were soft, but I feel what he was saying. And obviously, he didn't mean it literally. He didn't mean everybody, but he's right. We just offensively, some of our guys just didn't do it. Offensive line got pushed around, and I have to agree. And I was saying this early in the year that Sean Surratt, if I'm saying his name correctly, was the understudy of Munchak. And I was one of the main ones saying I don't think it's the coaching. But these last 3 weeks, when we have seen how bad the Steelers have been they were unable to pick up the blitz, that's coaching. That's coaching. Okay? We saw it 3 consecutive weeks. The Bills, the Jets, and today, they all had free runners at the quarterback. and guys making all kinds of mistakes. And that means that these guys were either unprepared or they weren't coached well or whatever. Lack of execution, of course. You're going to put some of it on the players. But the offensive line looked very bad, man, these last 3 weeks. And have looked kind of bad in spots during the season. So I'm not opposed to that either. But great call, man. We appreciate callers like that. So now to go ahead and get things out of here, man, let's go ahead and get Tony on the line. Let me bring Tony on real quick. My brother, what's going on, man?
Hey, brother. Hey, man. Happy holidays to all. Hail to the black and gold.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Let us hear it. What you got, man?
See, now, man, listen. I got tired of looking at that chat. You know, sometimes I want to ignore it. But, you know, when someone calls you like a hype man, now just look at what you just now said. If you so much of a hype man, look at all year long you've been saying if it's the coach, you've been calling it out, it was the coach. If it's the offensive coordinator, it's the offensive coordinator. You haven't taken up for people if it wasn't, you know, you didn't take up for them if they were wrong. If they were wrong, you called it straight down the middle.
Yeah, man.
So whoever said that, man, they need to get that together. They need to apologize to you for that. You've been straight down the middle with the Steelers. Come on, man. Come on. Even when I said some outlandish things and you and Kenyon had to straighten me out on some stuff or bring some things to my attention, man, you guys have always been fair and straight down the middle when it comes to certain things. And that's because you're watching the team. You know, you love the team, but you have to call things straight down the middle. And that's what you've always done. And you know, I just want to go in this because I know we don't have a lot of time. But, you know, Juju is a stud. I'm getting tired of people keep talking about Juju, okay? Now, you know what people forget? Remember AB struggled sometimes when we had Landry Jones? But I didn't hear people say AB was a bum. I didn't hear that. Remember when he was with Landry Jones? And it was times when AB wasn't getting that many catches. He wasn't, you know, getting open as much. And that comes from the backup quarterback and the chemistry that they have over a course of time. Ben had that with AB. Ben had that with Juju. When Juju was running 95 yards down the field, nobody wasn't saying that.
Oh.
Juju was a bum.
Yeah.
Now when Juju been hurt and Juju got a full-string quarterback. Let me say it again. Full-string quarterback. And with Mason Rudolph, come on, man. Come on. He's a bum. Man, Juju is a lotto stud. Okay? Another thing is, because I'm going down this list, Tomlin coached this year. Never had a losing season. And he had practice squad players. And we want to sit up here and how many practice squad players was on the team? Every time you turn around, I think it was the most in the NFL. Because every week we were talking about Kenyon and I was texting, talking about the practice squad. I mean, every time we turn around, it was the practice squad. We bringing up people to get on the offensive line. People forget Marquise Pouncey today was hurt. We don't realize that, even though, you know, I get on Marquise Pouncey all the time. Y'all know I'm not a big Marquise Pouncey fan. But Marquise Pouncey was not there, a Pro Bowl lineman. A lot of our linemen got hurt. The big Ragu, you know, he had got a concussion early in the year. A lot of people had gotten hurt, but we forget about that. We forget that Connor was hurt, and we had backup running backs. We've had people that had to come up and be a wide receiver. You know, they had to come up and do different things on the team. We forget all about that. You know, and like I already said, Duck was a four-string quarterback. And remember, everybody was talking about Duck. Duck. And you came on the show and said, hey,
Howard
you
Duck.
like Duck. Yeah, you did say that you like Duck and stuff like that. And you said, hey, but you got to remember, guys. You said, remember, guys, that it might be a little time. You know, he's not going to – see, people are looking for full-string quarterbacks. And remember, they had cut Duck. Remember? They had cut him. Because remember, we started off the year with Ben, Mason Rudolph, and Joshua Dobbs. Okay? Then we had Duck came in, and he started a game because Mason Rudolph was struggling. So then they brought Duck in, and he came. Or did he get hurt? I'm not sure, but he came in, and I think he struggled, but he came in and he won a game. He won a couple of games, and people was thinking he was the next Joe Montana. But then when he played tough defenses, now someone want to say that if we lose to the Jets, Tomlin should be fired because we lose to the Jets, and we lose to Buffalo. Look at Buffalo. Look at the Jets. They have what? Starting quarterbacks that they draft at a number 1 picks. So the difference is that you talking about quarterbacks that they had experience with the team over a course of time. So Duck's supposed to just come in there and just be the savior? Come on, man. We've been struggling. You've been talking about we struggling offense. I'm gonna tell you something else you said. You said in the summertime. You've been saying this about probably 2 seasons ago. Guys, I want you guys to realize that we might have some dark years with Pittsburgh because when Ben Roethlisberger go,
yep.
I should call you Nostradamus, man, because you called this like long time ago that we're gonna have some dark times. But even through the last 2 years or so, and this year was a very dark time. What was our record for those that practice squad team with a coach that everybody wants to fire? Come on, man. Mike Tomlin is a triple lotto stud of a coach, and I wouldn't want him to go nowhere. Okay, then I think Fittner could have coached better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And they're not going to. I want to tell everybody that they're not going to change Randy Fittner. As long as Ben Roethlisberger got 2 more years on his contract, if Fittner wins the Super Bowl, I could see them probably keeping him. But as long as Ben Roethlisberger is the coach, they're not going to change a coach at 37 years old. Remember, Fittner was already on the team when we had Todd Haley, which, to be honest with you, I like Todd Haley a lot better. But hey, I'm not the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Fittner is not going nowhere as long as Ben Roethlisberger is on the team. So you guys can cry about that and this, that, and the other. He's not going to go nowhere. He could have done a better job. Because I believe with now, the question I want to ask you, Sim, is I wonder if Fittner, like sometimes you know how quarterbacks, like offensive coordinators, they have their way of the way they want to coach and they're not going to change. Like sometimes you would think that a coach would change to the talent of what he has, or maybe Mason or Duck just can't, you know what I mean? They just not there yet. You kind of get what I'm trying to say?
Nah, that's a good point. Like how we talked about last year, perfect example was how they completely changed the offense for Lamar Jackson. I know it's a little different because he's a runner. Let's say Nick Foles. When Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, we could tell that they changed it up and they allowed Foles to do what he does. With us, we clearly saw that we didn't do that because when Fittner was still coming out there in 5 wide or, the empty sets early in the game, that's the Roethlisberger offense. But you might be right, maybe
that's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe Rudolph and Duck, they might not be able to change anything. Who knows?
Yeah.
Good point.
So then then you look at Butler. I believe Butler, even though we all can say Butler could have done a better job, but you know why Butler looks good? Because of look at all of those number 1 picks on the defense. I look good too if I was out there.
Right.
As long as that defense is in the top 10, hey, look, you and Kenyon could probably disagree with me right now, but as long as we're in the top 10 defense, Butler is not going nowhere. and I could be wrong, but if you're top 10 in the defense, and people can see that clearly 28 points, that was probably the most that people had on us in a long time since the New England game. Probably, I'm not sure. I can't remember, but man, we held teams.
That wasn't all on the defense either. Them points today.
Yes. Yeah. So then we want to say you can tell I'm going down the list. Sean Surratt, man, this is his first year. I mean, he could have done a better job on some things, but we'll give. It's funny how, we ready to get rid of somebody in their first year or so. Let him, this is his first year. I mean, he's not, and I understand when Roughhouse. No, it wasn't Roughhouse boxing. It was the guy before him that says that we should have not allowed him to get away. But as long as listen, when you got family, I remember they said that his daughter's a gender. You can't stop that. You can't stop that. I'm going with my daughter, and I can spend time the last few years of my life, and I have a daughter somewhere, and I'm going. And there's no payment in the world can keep me somewhere, because sometimes time is more important. You can always get more money, but you can never get time, and that's what family. And this is the last thing I want to bring up. You can tell I'm going down the list, brother. And the question, you brought this out, brother. I almost was like, man, you took my thunder. Could we win if we got in the playoffs? The question that's still in nation, those that are on this phone right now. Let me ask you a question. Hey, Phil, I want to ask you a question. Kenyon, I know you gonna answer the question for me. Did you see Derrick Henry?
Oh my word!
Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see Derrick Henry?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
They might go up there and beat New England too. Side note, they might mess around and go up there and give New England a problem. Now Belichick might have something for Tannehill. I will say that. But if they can run that football like that, boy, New England don't listen, man. New England to me, it's weird how we can say they don't look that strong, but they still where they at. Even like last year, they didn't look like the world-beating team, but they won the Super Bowl. But I still think that New England is vulnerable right now. They don't look like the strength of the NFL. Tennessee could catch them slipping.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah. Here's another thing. People want to say, "Oh, Miami beat New England. Miami have a 15-year vet under the center."
Exactly.
A 15-year vet under the center, and they got a nice defense, and they had nothing else to lose. I mean, it's not the best defense in the world, but they have a savvy vet underneath the center that's able to move. What's the common denominator of all the teams that's in the playoffs? They have good quarterbacks, and you believe that Pittsburgh, with all the practice squad players, and we can't do anything on offense, that when we get in the playoffs, we was going to win? But see, everybody was calling you a hype man, but you're calling things straight down the middle. We would have won in the playoffs, and you heard me say this. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think I sent it a couple of days ago that I'd rather us not to go in the playoffs and get it going there. And, remember that movie? What's that movie called? Harlem Nights. And what did Della Reese said about the orange juice? You got my mouth all warmed up with some orange juice, and you just leave a little bit at the bottom. We'd have went in there and got my mouth welded for a playoff game, and then we get slapped around. Come on, man. We would have got slapped around up in there. I don't know what nobody else saw. We on the game. Our defense can hang with anybody. Okay, so our defense go in there, and they hang with the Chiefs. They hang in there with everybody else. But guess what? Our defense is going to be exhausted before the game is out. Why? Because Duck can't take us nowhere. You already know Mason Rudolph is injured already. Yep. And then we got Kenyon's boy, number 5.
I believe Kenya would blow a gasket if that dude got in the game, man. Oh man.
Hey look, I was hoping he came in, won the game, and then won a playoff game. Oh man, I would have let him have it, man. I would have said, I would have let him have it on the phone or the text, man. Matter of fact, I would have called him up and say, "Yeah, what you want to say about your boy now?"
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That boy Deebo Samuel, boy.
You look at.
Whew. Watching this Niners
Samuel,
game, man, he's a bad boy. Excuse me.
He's a bad boy. Deebo is nice, man. And see, that's another thing. You gotta, Man, come on. Let's just say all of a sudden you get in the Super Bowl. You got to see one of those players like that in the playoffs. Come on, man. I never understood that. Do people watch football? Do people watch the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because it's just so unreasonable. If the Steelers, the Mike Tomlin has done, and I'm a Mike Tomlin supporter. You guys know this. I've always been a Bill Cowher fan. But I got to give it up to that guy. He's been coaching.
Oh, man. Tony, I got to get your opinion on this, man, because I see it in the chat, and I don't want to always be the one giving my thoughts. So, Sonny Rothmiller says, we took Edmonds over Jackson. So, they're saying that the Steelers made a mistake by drafting Terrell Edmonds instead of Lamar Jackson in that year's draft. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow. First of all, we already have Ben Roethlisberger locked in a contract already, if I'm not mistaken already. We needed safety help. They went with what we needed at that time. Lamar Jackson is a luxury. If you really look at it from the Baltimore Ravens standpoint, they showed you already what they were going to do when they picked the tight end over the quarterback. So he was a quarterback that they were going to kind of like experiment with. So that's the reason why they picked him up. But for us, we didn't need the quarterback. We didn't need him at that time. We needed safety help. We needed secondary help because everybody remember when our secondary was stinking even early this year before we got Minka. What was people saying about our defense?
Yep.
So we needed that help. We needed help. And Edmonds is not that bad. He could probably be a little bit better and stuff like that. But man, I'm telling you, I never understood that. But I wouldn't have got him because maybe he wouldn't have fit in our offense anyway. I don't know. You got to have the right kind of coach to coach a guy like that, and Baltimore has had that coach.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes. And I understand how people can do it, but I think we become too attached to our hearts as fans. You know, sometimes you got to look at the big picture. It's not always going to be the best draft pick. It's not always going to be the best play call. It's not always going to be the best play. I mean, we can all give our opinions, but some of the things that we expect, it just don't happen. You know, it's just like our father-in-law. Today he's telling me,
oh, man,
why we didn't go out there and get a veteran quarterback in the offseason. I'm like, Leonard, we come into this season, they expecting, first of all, Ben Roethlisberger to start. Second of all, your number 2 is your third-round draft pick that you was expecting to move up, which he earned that spot in preseason. Then, what everybody is forgetting, Josh Dobbs was the third-string quarterback before we traded him away. Now, I'm not saying Dobbs was the answer either, but there was no reason technically for the Steelers to go out there and spend money on a veteran quarterback when you're comfortable with letting Rudolph be the number 2. Nobody was saying this about Rudolph, and I can well, at least I feel like nobody was saying this, but I don't recall anybody saying these things about Rudolph before this season. During preseason, most of us were saying, oh, he looked like he took a step. Nobody was saying this dude is trash and all that, but when he starts playing now, you know, it's easy to have 20/20 vision, you know, when you're looking in hindsight. But I just don't get that. Like, you know, there's no reason for the Steelers to have rushed out there to get a veteran backup quarterback in this past offseason. I don't see any reason at all for them to have done that. Now, obviously, it looks like we should have, but nobody was saying that.
No, nobody was saying that. And you also got to realize, too, also, see, man, you know, there's tendencies that you see about your team. If you watch your team, if you know your team, if you've been like, I've been a Steelers fan since I was 8 years old. I'm almost 50 years old. I see what my team does. They don't go out there. This was the first year that they went out and said, hey, we're going to give up, that I've seen in a long time, Let's go and get the first round pick. Let's get Devin Bush and let's go to the the top of the draft and let's do this. And in the third game, let's go and get Minka Fitzpatrick. Let's give up. I've never seen that.
No,
that's something that they just don't do. And the formula has always worked. What's the formula? What do they say? If it ain't broke, why try to fix it?
Pretty much.
It hasn't been broke. The formula has always worked. And if you're a real fan, if you've been real fan over these years, I'm not gonna mess with my father-in-law, you wouldn't know what the Steelers do. That's what they do. They at that time they was able to get Charlie Batch that time, during the year to back up Maddox, or at the time when they did what they did to get some at the time. But the money has to be right. And Ben was supposed to sit that year, but he just happened to come up in the forefront. But the Steelers are not going to spend that kind of money when they need other positions, and other positions were the defense. Now this year, I wonder how everybody feels. And I know this is going to be another show that we're going to have to talk about. There's going to be some cuts that's coming up to make room for Kenyon's boy. You might don't want to hear it.
Stud.
But number 48 is going to get re-signed. Number 48 is going to get re-signed. And then next year, your boy T.J. Watt, or the year after that, is going to get signed with a big contract. You have to have money to sign people.
We about to break the bank on Watt. My goodness.
Yeah.
Watt is, this dude, every game he do something. Every single game. That is the definition of a lotto stud. Every game he does something. He just got to stop them offsides, though. I need him to chill with that. But everything else, bad boy, man.
Yeah, bad boy. And we haven't had that kind of guy in a long time. But we spend money. We need money. We're against a cap. And people forget that. We have a salary cap. And we do things a certain way. And I'm not going to expect too many things to happen. We can't put money. We can't go out there. What you think those guys? So this our father-in-law, right? You have to tell him, man. Listen. What you think? Those other quarterbacks that see an open market going to be a backup behind Ben Roethlisberger for peanuts? Man, they want to eat too.
Right.
They want to go with the best possible position. So just because they're out there does not mean that they're going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't. You think people want to sign back to be behind Tom Brady? No, they want to play. They not only they want to play, they know that they want to get paid, and they know New England is not going to pay. You're going to win, but you ain't going to get paid. You're going to win in Pittsburgh, but you're not going to get paid. So why would a backup quarterback like that want to come to us? We've always done well, and with all of our Super Bowl teams, 2005, 2004 under Bill Cowher. Aaron Smith and the Beard with 6th-round picks. But look at them; those guys were lotto studs, man. That's just how we've always done business, man, and that's how we always want to do business.
Yeah, man.
So you guys would get used to it.
I see some people asking, as we wrap up here, how do we feel about that first round pick? Well, this is exactly how I feel about it. Had we not done that, clearly we needed a safety, right? Because imagine this for a moment. I want everybody to picture this for a quick moment. Sean Davis goes on IR, and we're not sure what Sean Davis really was. He played his best years at free safety. I can guarantee you he wasn't going to be what Minka was this year. I don't care if he was healthy. He was not going to be what Minka Fitzpatrick was. That's number one. Number two, we don't trade for Minka Fitzpatrick, who was playing free safety this year alongside Terrell Edmonds. That's another thing to think about.
Ooh.
The third thing is we would have needed safety help. That was probably the biggest position of need with Sean Davis not going to re-sign. You wouldn't expect us to, unless he had a Minka-like year, which he wasn't. I mean, I hate to speak in absolutes, but I don't see that happening. So the only guy that, I ain't going to say only, but the guy that both Kenyon and I like just played yesterday in Grant Delpit. That's the only guy that we may have had a chance at. Now, who knows? Maybe our record is a little worse without Minka this year. We might have ended up in a position where we would have had to pick of the litter. We might have ended up in a position where Chase Young might have been in the cards. Who knows? But I'm just saying, for you guys to say now, and I'm not saying the guy who asked the question is saying that, but for you guys who oppose that first round pick, come on, man. Excuse me. I think we got more than the value with Minka Fitzpatrick. That dude is a staple. Think about today, in today's game. A lot of those long runs and runs up the middle, had Minka not made the tackle, might have been a touchdown. So even when he ain't getting picks, he has been all around center fielder, last line of defense for us. I have zero problem with that first round pick. So that's just my thoughts, man.
Zero problem.
We won't gonna get Joe Burrow for you guys who are saying that. That won't happen. So come on, man.
He going to Cincinnati. Yeah, I just want to say real quick on that is that look at our defense. Since Minka has gotten on our team, it was worth the first round pick. Look where we were at that time, and you bring up a great point, because who was going to be the safety? Was it going to be Dangerfield, or was it going to be that guy that just got cut because he was drunk in a nightclub? Come on, what he's brought you, he's been getting toasted. He's been getting slapped around there in the secondary almost half the year. I think that if we play New England with Minka this year, if we had that, it wouldn't have been on 33-3. I'm gonna tell you that one right now.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been that. We probably would have lost, but it wouldn't have been that. Minka was worth the first round pick, and even if we go out there and get dealt it, Minka already has experience in the NFL. Delpit would have had to go through his lumps, probably like everybody else. Or maybe he could have came in and could have been like that guy. What's that guy that come from your school from San Diego? That's like a lotto stud, the safety.
San Diego.
That safety that.
Derwin James. Yeah.
Derwin James is a lotto stud. If he might have could have came in the league and been a Derwin James, but man, we don't know what he would have been. I'm glad that we picked up that pick. He's a young guy. His contract is still cheap. We can still, we got a little time before we can pay him. Hey, that was a great pick to give for someone that already just started right off the ground. We would have had to. I mean, how do you know that? Look at Palomalo, first round pick, right? Look at him. He wasn't exactly like a lot of studs starting off. It took him a little time before he got there. Where Minka came immediately in the lineup and was out there getting fumble recoveries and interceptions right off the brink.
First game against the Niners, he was. Come on, man. It's easy to say it looking back, but yeah.
Hey, Sim, real quick, I just want to say this, and I know we can bring up so many hyperbole about our boy TJ. How do you like that Ken Norton, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Mike Tyson punch of the football?
Man, that boy is bad. Somewhere, Peanut Tillman is sitting around smiling because he was the first dude I ever seen do that. Back some years ago.
Yes, he was.
And now everybody's doing it, but TJ got it, man. And then the funny thing is, he gonna end up hurting somebody when he missed. He gonna punch somebody elbow or something, cause he cocks back and punched that thing, and it worked. He got it the second time.
Everybody else is doing it.
Yep.
Everybody else is doing it. Alulu, it's becoming contagious, cause Alulu got a punch last week too, like that, or the week before.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Those Watt brothers is something else, man. But yeah, guys.
But
I guess we wind it on down, man. Maybe Tuesday. I'll see it. I got Tony here now. I'll see if Tony and Kenyon may want to come on Tuesday. Maybe we could do another steel table, man, and just kind of talk about the state, of the Steelers with all of us. I guess we could show a little bit of film. I mean, but oh, wait a minute, it's New Year's Eve, ain't it? Tuesday.
Yeah.
So let me say this.
Yeah.
It may be a show, it may not, because I told y'all it would be one last week, and I said if I couldn't do it that night, I would do it early in the day. It didn't materialize. So let's say this. If we can make it happen Tuesday, we will, but let's go ahead and say now that it probably won't be a show, but maybe the next week, or maybe we could do it, later in the week. It don't have to be on Tuesday, but we'll figure out what we want to start doing during the off season. As we got a new subscriber right there, Nate Bell, appreciate that. Definitely want to keep the show going and try to keep the content interesting, man. So we'll probably have, more steel tables and things like that. But hey, guys, we're out of the playoffs, man. And again, if anybody who really thought we were gonna do it, God bless your heart, man. I know as a Steeler faithful, I know how it feels. But I'm forced to be more of a realist, and I just didn't think we were going to do it. I didn't think it was going to shake out in our favor today, especially when Houston sat Deshaun Watson. It just wasn't meant, man. So, but anything else you want to say, Tony, before we wrap it up?
I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. And, we had a good season. It wasn't a great season, but I thought that we had a pretty good season. I mean, we saw some ups and downs. It could have been worse. We could be a Cleveland Browns fan. We could be a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Oof.
We could be a New York Giants fan. It could be more. It could be much more worse than what we have. At least we have some Super Bowls. There are teams that don't have Super Bowls. But I thought it was a pretty interesting year. We learned a lot about our team, and we learned a lot about our coach. So, that's all, I had to say about it.
Absolutely, man. So I appreciate Tony coming through. I'll spend a little bit of time with you guys. Let me take these headphones off. Tony, we'll talk later, man. And, we talk whenever. So let me take these headphones off and get to the chat. I'm going to spend maybe 3 or 4 minutes in here. I wanted to say something really quick. I want to shout out Benny Snell. Benny Snell, listen, man, Benny Snell might be a guy. I'm not going to say he's an every down back, but I'm starting to get a little more confidence in Benny Snell. I liked his, as you hear coaches say, I liked his run demeanor tonight. Snell looked good, man, and he looks like a compliment type of guy that could be a good second back, or maybe even, listen, Snell could end up being a starter for Pittsburgh as far as just early downs, and then you rotate somebody else. We'll see what happens with Connor, but I think I like Snell now if Connor's injured. That's what I want to say. I still want Connor out there because I love the way Connor plays football, man. I love the way he hits the hole quick. He showed us a little razzle-dazzle against the Bills, that juke move. I was like, wow. Didn't know Connor had that in his arsenal. But I like Snell, man. Snell is growing on me. I'm definitely liking him more as a featured back than Jalen Samuels. So we'll see. But I wanted to give Snell his props and his shout-outs today. The boy ran hard. He had some good, made some good runs. Looked pretty sharp out there. Let me see what you guys got in the chat really quick. Darren Dalton says, we didn't tank through the unbelievable amount of adversity we experienced this season. The Steelers way is real. Next man up. The standard is the standard. We're blessed to be 8-8 for sure. That's how I feel. But like I said, I'm going to shy away from opinions and, I'll let everyone have their own opinion. I'm not going to dive into what, I'm not going to feed into the Tomlin stuff. I'll just agree or disagree. But with that, I definitely agree with that. If you look at it from a realistic standpoint, I know we have, our standard is to win Super Bowls, but under these circumstances, again, this season, it's hard to say that it was Tomlin's fault. It's hard to say that. Just my opinion. Let's see. Eric McDuffie says, wasn't feeling Snell at first, starting to change my mind. See, and this is my point, guys. We have to let people grow. I'm loving Deontay Johnson as well. If the kid works on his ball security, he is going to be special. And I like to pat myself on the back by saying, I was saying that even when we drafted him, after I scouted him, I said, this dude has potential. He showed us that. Not only in the receiving game, but in the return game. So I like him. I like him a lot. Real Fact says, Sim, I can see Snell making a jump in his second season, similar to Bell if he puts in the work in the offseason. Love what I saw and was my favorite draft pick. Yeah, and he's going to cut some weight. I think he'll cut down 10 pounds or so. You know, he's going to do like the rest of the backs did. James Conner came in like that. You know, Bell came back in better shape. I think, you know, year number 2 will be a jump for him. I like his, you know, like Tomlin says, you know, an arrow pointed up in regards to him. What else y'all got out here? Marlon Nicholson says again, if Javon Hargrave goes, he will not be missed in the run game. He's not a true 3-4 nose tackle. He's a pass rushing defensive tackle. You know, you got a point. I don't want to go as far as saying he wouldn't be missed, but I see where you're going. I see your angle there, and I tend to agree with that. I don't think he would be as big of a miss as most people think. Wow, man, as I'm looking at the game here, the Niners are looking like the real deal against the Seahawks right here. Jimmy Garoppolo is doing his thing. And again, if you guys watch the rest of this game tonight, look at the mix-up in play calling, man. We need a creative offensive coordinator. The game is going towards that. You know, even though when people want to say Baltimore is just running the ball, no, they're not just running the ball. That is a very tricky run game. That's why they were able to still produce that run game without Lamar Jackson. And I think it would have happened even if it weren't the Steelers' defense. Excuse me. That scheme, man, is tough to defend. So I like to see a little more creativity out of an OC, man. I really would like to see that going forward. What else y'all got? Give me someone else that I didn't read yet. Let's go up here to Reyes Roberts says, was Tomlin's fault? You can read the man, run. Well, you said was Tomlin's fault. You can read the man, run, pass. Okay, well, you got to explain that a little further, Reyes, because Tomlin's not the offensive coordinator. Then you said Juju can't catch or hold on to the ball. Okay, well, like I said, I respect your opinion. We'll move on. Numel says Juju is awesome. Stop. He needed time to develop as a number 1. Again, I'm not going to feed into everyone's opinion. I will just say this. Let's consider the fact that he's not playing with Ben Roethlisberger. Let's consider that. We don't know. Me personally, I don't know if he's a number 1 receiver yet. I think he still has the potential to be that guy, especially with James Washington and Deontay Johnson peaking around him. Can I see him with the real quarterback first before I make a judgment? That's all I'm saying. Sam, football is rigged, man. Okay, I think you meant to say Sim, football is rigged. Okay. Well, let me say this, Rashia Brown. Do you watch football? The reason why I'm saying that is because, honestly and truly, all of this stuff could be rigged. But the day that I really believe that football is fixed, then I'm done. Now, some people might say, oh, you're naive. No, I'm not. I'm saying the day that I know for sure, I'm done dealing with it. Same reason why, this is no offense to anybody, but it's the same reason why I don't watch wrestling. I used to love wrestling as a kid. When I grew up and found out that wrestling was fixed, and then my boy Undertaker or guys like that, you know, it was in the cards that they weren't going to win, I was done with it. What's the point? It ain't fun to me no more if I know, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about sports. When I know for sure when it's fixed, I'm not watching. You said you do watch. So my question to you, Rashia, would be why? Why do you watch? Is it still entertaining to you when you know it's fixed? And if that's the case, then if it's still entertaining to you and you know it's fixed, then what's the underlying point you're attempting to make? That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. That's just my crazy brain. Ali says, our wide receiver corps will be great next year with Johnson targeted as the number 1. Don't think he's going to be the number 1, though. We'll see. But I think we need to keep that lineup like we had with AB. Okay, Deontay Johnson being your X, Juju playing inside in the slot, Washington being your Z. That, to me, if we can keep that consistent lineup, we're a little dangerous at wide receiver. Young and hungry guys. 410 Competent Legend says, we had a better season than the Cowboys. We sure did. Real Fact says, Ben, Lamar, Mayfield, and most likely Barrow are the AFC North QBs next year. We got the last old head. Yeah. Smitty says the offensive line wasn't really built for a run blocking. It was built for pass blocking. Okay. I'll read this last one by Reyes. It says, all his plays, you can call it. No disguise or options. How many gadget plays did he call out and we sucked? He runs the ball twice and throws a small dump off on third. 3 out and easy. All right, so Reyes, I'm going to come back to you and say, you kept saying Tomlin. He's not the offensive coordinator. That's all I'm saying. And then again, I'm not making up for Tomlin, defending anybody else. I'm basically reading your thoughts here. You said Tomlin's fault, but you're talking about offensive coordinator things. So whose fault is it? All right, the last one. Here we go. Shania Langs, Colbert and Rooney are to blame. They let Brown walk and got nothing for him. You know what? I can't disagree with your point, but let's say this. Antonio Brown has a problem. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to read the article that Jeremy Fowler wrote. From the way it's reading, Pittsburgh really helped him. Okay, Antonio Brown was going to be what he was going to be. And to say that they let him walk, no, they didn't let him walk. Antonio Brown was becoming unbearable. He was becoming a cancer, or more of a cancer in the locker room. We saw it when he was with New England. We saw what he did in Oakland. Okay? So I don't think I can walk down that road and say that it was Rooney and Colbert's fault that he walked. Now, if you want to say that it was Colbert and Rooney's issue with Le'Veon, you could say that. But again, the still away is they don't pay with so much guaranteed money. But Le'Veon Bell, by year 2, would have made his guarantee that he got from the Jets, and he would have had a more of an amount with the longer contract. But if you want to say that they didn't pay him the guarantee, I agree with that. But that is the still away. They don't do that for anybody outside of the quarterback position. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just how they do business. So, but all right, man, let me go ahead and get out of here, man. I guess that's going to do it. Like I said, guys, maybe Tuesday. I'm not going to guarantee it. It's New Year's Eve. So depending on what type of plans my lovely wife has, that's got to come first. Of course, the Steelers and Steeler Nation and you guys are a close second. I love the Steelers. I love talking about them. And like Tony always says, it's like we're in some type of cult. But come on, family first. So let's anticipate it not being a show on Tuesday. But I got something special for you guys, and I'm going to say this now. We're going to keep this Steeler thing going, man. Of course, we're going to keep doing the Terrible Towel Tuesday. We might try to find another show we can add in. Obviously, there's not going to be any more post-game shows. But we're definitely going to continue to do that, and we'll find different things to talk about. But what I'm also going to do is try to carry on the season using Madden. So for you guys that don't know that, I'm a gamer too from time to time. So what I think I'm going to do is create a brand new franchise beginning from this week, at 8-8, and we'll go from there. I'll show you guys, who I'm going to draft and all of that. I'll be playing on all Madden, and we'll go through the weeks, and we'll try to just keep it interesting, for us knuckleheads that just love our Steelers. We'll keep it interesting in the virtual world, and that'll be a compliment to, what we're doing here with Terrible Towel Tuesday. So I got some plans to at least keep some of you guys engaged. If that ain't really your thing, I get it, but we'll see. But outside of that, man, if you guys haven't already, make sure y'all do this right here. Do the 3 things. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, cut on your notification. Go ahead and do yourself a favor and do that. Also, if you would like to donate to the cause, if you want to do it here in the chat while we're still open, all you need to do, hit the $ at the bottom of the chat window. You'll be presented with an option to donate. If you prefer to do it outside of YouTube, if you feel more secure with Cash App or more secure with PayPal, I like those options as well. The information is in the description. I thank you in advance. But outside of that, that's it. So you probably won't see me Tuesday, but if you do, it'll be a bonus. If not, it will be the following Tuesday. But I will try to get out, some of that gaming footage out for you guys. Try to get that out sometime this week. I'm going to try to work on that. I saw somebody say, go live. Don't worry about us. Go live. Okay. I got you. But all right, let's go ahead and get out of here, man. Long show tonight, but we're hurting. But it is what it is, man. We have to accept the season for what it is. You know, let's, as football fans, let's continue to watch and enjoy some football. And, man, maybe our Steelers give it a run next year. And let's keep our eyes and ears glued to the news to see if anybody is let go or what have you. And there it is. But, all right, man, that's going to do it. Love you guys. Y'all be safe. Happy New Year to everyone, man. Be safe out there if you're going to go do your thing. And, yeah, be safe and responsible. And I thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace. Well, excuse me. Thank you for tuning in to the post-game show. Peace.